Hello everybody! In today's episode we're going to be looking at knobs, buttons and sliders and all those kind of controller things. So if you're ready, let's dive in. Now, actually a little bit later in this video we are going to be looking at the famous underwater keyboard. I'm going to be plugging it in and seeing if it still works, and I genuinely haven't plugged it in yet, so it might just explode. Now, I want to introduce you first of all to what is clearly a major failing of design. Look at this lovely piano. Does it have any flashing lights? Does it have any sliders? What were they thinking? And look, here's a perfectly nice guitar. Does it have any flashing lights? Does it have any sliders? No. So obviously, pianos and guitars are rubbish. What you need is buttons, sliders, all kinds of good stuff like that, and above all, nice flashing lights. Okay, in all seriousness, the reason why electronic instruments, synthesizers, samples and everything else need all actually looking around, this is a bit silly, isn't it? I have got rather too many. Anyway, they're not all plugged in, they're all here to be shown, you know, is because they have lots of different components which you need to control in real time. Volume, expression, vibrato, timbre, and the filters, all kinds of things. And when you're playing a sampled instrument or an electronic instrument, it's not a static, dull, dead thing. It's a living, breathing, organic thing. And you know, it's an instrument that needs to be performed and played, you know, with interest and passion. And you can only do that if you're madly wiggling knobs about. Also, it looks good if you're giving it that, you know. If you twiddle knobs, people assume you know what you're doing, even if the knob doesn't do anything. Oh, hang on. Yes, you haven't subscribed yet, have you? Look. Doesn't cost anything, and there's a little button and there's a bell, and you might enjoy this little life we've created here. Yeah, good stuff. Let me introduce you to this one first of all. It's got nothing to do with music, but I just thought I'd clear up one or two things. It's called an Akai Mini Pro, and it's a vision mixer. So you plug 4 HDMI sources in there and you get one HDMI source out. So if I'm doing something live, it means I can have multiple cameras and the screen and everything else. And it's really, really good. It's extremely good. Also, it looks lovely because it's got shiny lights. Anyway, right. The controller I've had for the longest time is this one. It's dead cheap. It's a Akai PC Mini, and it's not programmable in any way, shape or form, but the reason it's useful is these buttons start at, what is it, C-2. It goes right the way down to the bottom, and you can, for those key switches for libraries like Spitfire, for example, which are right off the edge of the keyboard, this is a very useful way of being able to do the key switches the way you do, and if you did that, it would be absolute chaos, wouldn't it? Can you imagine? Wah! So you can do that without having to constantly transpose your keyboard down. So I've got a couple of these, and I used to use them all the time, but now, because I've got the SAC8, I've also got the all those key switches actually programmed up there. But there's lots of other ways of doing it. Anyway, this, if you haven't got any other way of doing it, that is a good piece of kit, and it's dead cheap and worth its weight. The thing I've been using most in the recent past is this, which is Platform M Plus from Icon. These are very, very nice faders. They are lovely. So you get 8 faders and a master fader, plus a whole load of buttons, and if you spare no expense, you can have some really tacky labels which fall off. That's down to me. But every one of the buttons on this is programmable. So you can program these for different controllers, and so you can have CC1, CC7, CC11, all those kind of things. Now, I just heard steam coming out of somebody's ears. What are all these controllers you talk about? The MIDI standard allows you to have, is it 127? 127 different controllers. And they can all be, some of them are preset to do certain things, like this thing here, the mod wheel, is always CC1 on controller 1. And the sustain pedal, which I've got down there, is CC64. So some of them have got sort of preset little lives where they're always doing the same thing. But an awful lot of them can be allocated to all kinds of things. So for example, if we look at this Spitfire instrument, here are the mic positions. Spitfire use CC22 as one of their mic positions. And then CC23 is the next, and CC24 is the next. So what you can do, if we take CC18 there, okay, now there's the filter. If you right-click on the knob in a lot of instruments, it comes up and says MIDI Learn. Click on MIDI Learn, move the fader, and now this fader, CC18, is forever locked to the high-pass filter. Oh, that was a bit loud. Sorry about that. To the filter, so it's nice and straightforward. It's magic. That's why this is great, because you get to stand there and put on your sunglasses and go, and you can drive all kinds of interesting things. So look. That's how you set up. That's why CCs are important. That's why there's so many of them, and why you can allocate all your favorite functions to a key service like that. So the Platform M Plus is really good. I really like it. It's quite expensive, but so it's not. If you're looking for really inexpensive, this is a good option. This is the Nano Control 2. It's very straightforward. It's just, 8 faders. I mean, look, they're quite short, and they're not the smoothest things in the world, but it is entirely configurable, and you can allocate these faders to what you want. It's really easy to break. You may notice most of the knobs have fallen off, and you just plug it in my MIDI. But it's inexpensive. It's good value, and if you want a hardware surface, it's quite a good place to start. I'm not looking at software. So I know a lot of you will say, oh, why are you not looking at Lima, for example? I've tried Lima. It's just a pain to set up. And I like something solid and get a fader, I want to throw the fader up and down. All that kind of stuff. That's what makes my heart sing. I've also got a Raven, as some of you will notice, which is a big flat touchscreen in my main studio, and that's astonishing. So that you can mix and you can do all kinds of. But again, it is quite hard work setting up. And the downside for me with the Raven is it has to use its own set of key commands within your DAW. So if you're used to your own key commands, you can't use them. You have to use the Raven, which is fine if you're going to use the Raven on top. I've got a friend who absolutely swears by it. Got 2 Ravens. Yes, Stephen. Yes, you are Raven man, and it's brilliant. It's just like watching somebody conducting an orchestra as he strokes his. You get the gist. If you're into this and you put in the time, outcomes are wonderful. For me, I'm quite impatient and I like physical things, which brings me to my latest acquisition, which is a Streamdeck. I come very late to the party with Streamboat, and people have been raving about these for ages, and I just missed it somehow. What it is, it's a programmable set of buttons. They come in 3 sizes. This one is the XL, and it has 32 buttons. It's entirely configurable. So I've got them, for example, set up for play and stop. I can turn the click off, cycle, record. I've got the quantize down the bottom. I can look. This is quite cool. I'll show you. Let's have a little demonstration of how it works. Okay, let's go into. Let's record. Oh, hang on. Turn on the click. Okay, let's just do that for the moment. Let's now go select bounce. Oh no, render. Render, okay. Then we're going to go normalize. That's pretty cool. Then we're going to go reverse. And then we got it. So you can see that you can do all this. If you set up the key switches right, you can do all these kind of cool stuff. Hey, that's all right. What happens if you do pitch shift? Ooh, pitch shift, pitch shift. No, I haven't set it up right. I'm still learning with this because I literally was setting it up this morning. What you get is a bit of software. And you can, for example, here's the delete key. Let's take one and... okay, I'll do the delete. If you wanted to assign a different thing to it, you go... there's a number of ways you can do this, but hotkey is the best one. So take hotkey, drop it there, replace, yes. Then you can call it, Genius. And this is a special button which I've invented, which allows you to automatically create the greatest tunes of all time. And the keystroke is... not telling you. That's really silly. Okay. So then you put in a key switch, and then it comes up. Look, Genius. And you push that, and it writes automatic music, and it's just like great, isn't it? Isn't that cool? It's very. And then you can add these special. You can add backgrounds to it, and you can put names, and it all comes up on here. And I think it's just lovely, because you know how much I like a good flashing light. And that is a really good flashing light. Just before I go any further, did I mention this?
How to Write Music is my online course that takes you through every step of the process. How to get going, chord progressions, tune writing, developing and arranging your music. 6 hours of exclusive video tutorials, a course text packed with tips, and a supportive online community. Get more out of your music and sign up today.
So Streamdecks also come pre-configured for a whole load of other bits of software like OBS, Wirecast. I mean, there's tons of stuff out there which will, do wonderful things. So those are the main. What am I using most of the time at the moment? I use the S88, which is already pre-configured with all these buttons and knobs. So the knobs down here are pre-assigned to my favorite continuous controllers, and the buttons are assigned to key switches down here. I use the Streamdeck, which is lovely, which just allows me to get on with that kind of thing. I'm not using the platform quite as much as I did. Now I've got all these other things. But broadly, look, the reason it's worth getting into all this is if it's really easy for you to add this level of expression while you're playing, your music will be better. People will like your music more because it gives them interest, it gives them excitement. It kind of, you can make the thing grow. You can make it more realistic or more interesting if you're not trying to be realistic. It's just great, okay? So it's super good, and everybody needs to get into the habit of playing and doodling around with controllers at the same time. And that's it, really. So look, so now you know all the bits and pieces I have on my desk. And the ones I'm mostly using at the moment are Streamdeck and this, and a little bit of that. I don't use these two. I use this one with the portable setter kit because I haven't yet found a keyboard that has lots of nice knobs as well as being micro and can go in my backpack. But I'm working on it.
Oh, before we go, do you remember when I did this to a Keystation 88?
Let's dive straight in.
Well, I did promise you we're going to plug it in and see if it still works. Ready? Let's give it a go. Here it is. There's no water in it. That's a good sign. Right. Okay. Now I've genuinely not plugged in this at all, so I have no idea it could just blow up. I think it's unlikely. I think it's more likely just not to work. Whoa! Green lights! Green lights! Look. Look. Little green lights. That is promising. Are you ready? Nothing. Why am I surprised? That's not so good. It's now completely dead. I'm just going to play with this for a couple of seconds, see if I can make it work. Oh! Did you hear that? Way! Which only goes to show you can, but shouldn't, dive into a swimming pool holding a keyboard and it'll still work afterwards. Better than it was before. It didn't work before and now it does. Okay, that's just utterly bizarre. Well, blow me down. So that's all I've got for you for today. So if you haven't subscribed yet, shock horror, yes, I'm talking to you. Why not just push the subscribe button? It doesn't cost anything. Remember the little dingly bell stuff, because we do this quite a lot, and bits of music theory, bits of music tech, all kinds of interesting things. If this is your kind of place, then come on down, and I will be back very soon, boldly going where no other musician goes. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.